btop++ is undoubtedly one of the most beautiful looking system monitors that you can have on a Linux terminal. You should know that this particular tool, btop++, actually the command is btop, though the package name is called btop++, this project name that is available not just on Linux, but also on all the modern Unix-like variants like macOS or FreeBSD, NetBSD, and OpenBSD. So I have installed btop++ on my Linux running on a Raspberry Pi board. So I'm just going to show you how it works and you'll understand the interesting features that it offers. Now, first of all, let me just exit. To install btop++, you can just run a sudo apt install btop. This is on a Debian or Ubuntu or any Debian-based distributions. I think this is how you can get it installed. It's already installed on my system. By the way, if you're using Arch Linux, you can also use sudo pacman -S btop, or if you're using Red Hat Linux or their variants, the modern variants, you can use sudo dnf install btop. So you have different packages available for all the mainstream distributions of Linux, and you can just use your package manager and install this particular tool. Now, you might ask me, how is it different than the other popular tool called htop? My personal favorite has always been htop for one reason, because it's got a lot of customizability and a lot of features that you can tune in a very fine-grained manner. But if you look at the UI of htop, which I already have installed on my setup here, it provides this kind of a standard interface, which many of you who have been using this tool would be comfortable with. It has a n-cursor-based interface, and you can use the F1 for help, and you can use F2 for setup, or you can do all these things, right? You have the function keys that are shown here to show you different shortcuts. And one of the things about htop is that it gives you a lot of control in customizing this particular program. So you can actually change exactly what kind of details you want to see in this listing. You can create new tabs in the modern version of htop. To do that, you can just go to the setup by using F2, and you have options to navigate where you can go to the screens. There are two screens I've configured. I think it was default over here as main and IO. But you can always add a new screen and decide exactly what columns you want to get printed right here. And the meters on top that you see here, these meters, you can also customize that by just heading over to meters, where you can decide exactly what kind of meters you can have in different columns. You can have a 2-column, 3-column, or 4-column layout, and you can configure the meters to your liking based on the number of columns you decide. So this is htop, which has a lot of scope for customizability, and it's quite powerful. It's been there for a long time, and it's also very, very popular on modern Linux terminals. But when I encountered btop, what I really like about it, when I install btop by using apt install btop here, I can just run btop directly like this. The project name is btop++, but command is btop here. So this is the default preset that you see here. And look at this. This looks beautiful, isn't it? So you have all these nice looking meters on top, where you have the CPU related information right on top by default, where it gives you a graph about the CPU utilization. Looks like my machine is not using a lot of CPU cycles. Let me just do something. Let me just make it a little CPU intensive by writing some infinite loop. I'll do that. So let me just open up a new tmux screen here, and maybe do a cp/w random and /div/null. This will keep one of the CPUs busy. So let me just go back here, and you can see the CPU usage. The CPU graph is shown here. It looks very nice. It tries to use all the modern features of your Linux terminals or terminal emulators, right? By the way, I'm using a macOS, and I've remotely connected to this Raspberry Pi board, and the terminal I'm using is Ghosty, so which is available on macOS or for Linux, all the modern environments. You can use any modern terminal emulator to get this kind of a layout. So if a terminal emulator provides these interesting fonts and iconography, it leverages it to give you this nice looking UI with all these rounded corners and dotted graphs that you see here, and very, very true color scale that you see here. The colors just shade down for this process listing. Anyways, so here you can see the CPU graph. It also tells you system uptime, and you can also get to know about the CPU itself. Because I'm running on a Raspberry Pi board, which is having 4 cores. It's a Raspberry Pi 4, by the way. So it shows that core 0 is running with 100% CPU usage. The red bar here indicates that it's running in kernel mode, obviously. So I'll also create another terminal here and try to do some while loop, maybe in Python. I can do it in shell, but let me use Python for a change. And you can see that CP2 is also shown up as 100%. Surprisingly, it is showing red even here. Maybe it doesn't differentiate CPU utilization user mode or kernel mode, I guess. We need to check that. And you can see the overall CPU usage is running to 50%, the overall aggregate of all the CPU cores that are there. And it also shows you the load average, the CPU clock frequency, and the updates. How frequently is it being updated? That is reported here. It is updated every 2 seconds, but you can actually use some interesting keyboard shortcuts on this to customize certain things. So one hint that you can get here is that all these entries that you see with red highlight, like 1 for CPU, M for menu, P for preset, and you see plus and minus here for this timeline, you can just use the minus to update faster. You can see it decrements in 100 milliseconds timeline, and it updates more faster, more vigorously it updates it, a more frequent rate. But if you want to make it less CPU intensive, you can use plus key. You need to use the shift plus or the plus key on your number pad if you have one on your keyboard. So you can update it at the rate of 2 seconds, right? This meter is updated at the rate of 2 seconds in here. And you can also see memory usage over here. It tells you the total RAM usage, how much is used, how much is available, how much is cached, how much is free, disk IO related information, total disk space, and what is the IO rate on my disk. So all these details are shown here. For some strange reason, it also shows up proc as disk, which is actually not. It looks up all the mounted file system and sort of gives you a report based on that. That's what I see here. So it also gives you about network information, the download and upload rate on network on this particular area. And you can see the process related information on this big right hand side area that you see here, right? And you can also look at the CPU usage. Looks like the cp command is using the highest CPU utilization. So you can see that is reported as 20%, 25%, followed by Python, which is also the same as cp command, which is there here. Both are almost using 25% of CPU overall amongst the 4 CPUs, right? And you can actually change the sort order by just using the left and right arrow keys. So right now it is sorted based on CPU, but you can use the left arrow key, for example. It's going to sort based on CPU direct. The CPU lazy will do a lazy update of CPU utilization. CPU direct will take more real-time CPU usage updates. Left arrow again, now it's ordered based on memory utilization. Remember, it is in descending order. So the program that takes highest memory is listed on top. Maybe I'm running Tailscale to remotely connect to this Raspberry Pi board, which takes up 85 megabytes of memory. And this PostgreSQL database running. For testing purpose, I've done that on my Raspberry Pi board. And Network Manager, Exim, and Systemd. So all these things, right? It shows you, it lists all the process based on memory utilization. If you use the left arrow key one more time, it now orders based on username. So you can see the last entry that you see in this corner, the right top corner here, right? So this indicates exactly what this is. Maybe I can just highlight it over here, hopefully. So yeah, so you can see this. No, I think I need to use not this, just a moment, please. Yeah. So you can just see this is where the highlight is, right? So you can update this right here. And by the way, so you can use the left and right arrow keys to order based on different parameters, based on number of threads, based on the process per command name or the name of the program or process PID. It's always in descending order. If you want to make it ascending, you can always use R. R will reverse sort it. So that's what it does. So if at all I want to select memory, I can use again left and right arrow keys back here. I order based on memory. All these are kernel threads, which will not account to memory utilization in the listing in userland. So it's all shown as 0 bytes. But when you look at the ones below, you can scroll up and down. And interestingly, if you want to get information about any process, you can just press enter. For example, I selected SSHD here. So if I just press enter on this one, it gives you more details about this particular process. It shows you about SSH. And you can also terminate this process or kill this process by pressing T to terminate, K for kill, deliver any arbitrary signal to it by pressing S and select what signal you want to deliver. So all these basic options are available. And yeah, you can just press enter one more time to hide it. And this is how you can actually use btop like a nice dashboard showing you the health of your system. And this tool is available not just on Linux, it's also available on macOS. I have a macOS running, so I can just show you right here. So if I just bring up another tab on this terminal, there's a macOS terminal. I've installed on a macOS, you can just use brew install. Use homebrew, it's more convenient. Just install homebrew. It's a package manager for installing all the variety of open source software available for macOS, most of the GNU tool chains and variety of open source software, right? It's a package manager to install all the open source software packages. So when you do a brew install btop over here, this is already installed, I guess. So, okay, it's installed already. And run btop even on Mac. If you run on a direct machine, like a laptop, like a Linux laptop or Mac or so on, it also gives you some details about battery utilization. And a meter right here shows the battery is like 100%. And same thing, you can get to know about how much total RAM is available and what is the total disk usage, disk related information, network related information, process. If at all you want to turn off any of these meters, you can select the number. So you can see this first tab, first entry, first area is CPU. So if I just press 1 here, the CPU utilization details are gone. Press one more time, you get it back. You try 2, memory usage information is gone. It's now filled only with networking related details, right? If you press 2, you get the memory and disk related information. 3 is an area for network. You can enable or disable these options right here. 4 for not having to worry about process related information. Press 4 one more time to get it. Basic shortcuts, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. All the different areas you can turn on and turn off. And the other option is obviously, it's got a lot of intuitive shortcuts. To know what those shortcuts are, you can just press H for help. It shows you all the shortcuts available. You can see right here, 1, toggle CPU box, 2, toggle memory box, network box, process box, GPU box, right? I'm not sure if the GPU is listed here, maybe. I don't see it. Okay, let me just press 5, let's see. Oh no, maybe it's not detected on my laptop, on a Mac. But if you're running on bare metal Linux system with a GPU like NVIDIA or, AMD or Intel GPU, I think it will report deep GPU related information necessarily. Maybe there are other dependencies that we need to take care of. You can also bring up a menu by pressing M, and you get this screen where you can select options and you can customize the theme. If you don't like the color theme, you can change that by selecting these options right here to match up your overall themes for your terminal that you might use or your desktop. You can match the theme that suits well for your use case. There are almost like 33 themes to choose from, and I'm selecting this. Choose the default theme background. You can turn on and turn off background for the theme, or true color support. You can turn it off. If you enable true color support, you get a nice shaded areas. Otherwise, your colors, the number of colors will be limited. I think you get about 256 color. I'm not sure, so it's listed right here. And you also have a force CTY. There are certain terminals like old legacy terminal emulators where this rendering might not work very well, like rounded corners and so on. And dot based, the dots that you see for graphs, they may not get rendered very well. On such kind of environments, you can turn on force CTY to true. It looks simplistic, but yet it works for if you're using legacy terminals or even your Linux console, right? You might want to select this. So on your Linux console, you may not have all the benefits of these fonts and rounded corners because they don't have all these font features. Such cases, you might want to turn on force CTY to true, or I believe it falls here. So when I turn it to true, you can see that the output will look sort of like this. Instead of dots, you see bars, right? Bars right here. So that's what you observe. And if you want to turn it back on, you can just go to menu and options and force CTY to turn it to false. You can also use Vim key bindings instead of using the arrow keys. For all you want to use the HJKL key combination like you do in the Vim editor, you can turn that on. And there are also presets. There are different presets available, so which is shown here. CPU 1, default, proc 0, and so on. It shows how to define presets. You can press enter here and configure them to your liking. So it shows how to configure the presets. It shows where you want memory information, where you want TTY, where you want process information, where you want CPU information, the areas of the screen. You can customize them. So that's how this presets can be customized. And what all boxes are shown is also listed right here. For now, it shows a box for CPU, mem, net and proc. So you can also toggle between the presets. I will show you that. And you also get information about the graph symbol, clock formats. All these are customizability features that you can do it from this UI. Not just that, I should tell you about one of the options here. Yeah, I think I missed it. Yeah, the presets. There are some presets also available. So to change the preset, this is one preset view. If you don't like this, you can just press P. Will change the preset view. There's another preset that you see here, where process information on top, your CPU information on bottom, right? That's what you get. Only CPU related information you get in this preset. Press P one more time. It shows you another preset where you only get about CPU, disk, memory, network related information. Press P one more time. You get a preset that looks differently. It has a different theme altogether. Works well for TTYs, which are old generation TTYs, not modern terminal emulators. And you also have all these presets. You can switch presets like this. You can see that preset number is shown right here. Press P to switch presets, right? So preset 2, preset 3, 4, 0, right? There's a preset 0 that is being selected. So all of these you can customize by also going to a configuration file. The config file for this, to come out of btop, you can just press Q. And if you want to edit the config file, I think the config file by default would be in .config folder /btop. Under btop, there's a file called btop.conf. The first time you run btop, this template configuration is created, which is very, very readable. You can edit this. Color themes, what color themes you want to select. Theme background is equal to true color is equal to true, force TTY is equal to false. So all the things that we saw in the options, they come from here. You can customize them directly by editing this text file, or you can do it in the UI if you prefer to do so there. So these are all the different options. So it looks like a very intuitive, promising project. To know more about this project, you can always head over to their GitHub, which I will just list right here. So maybe I'll just open up a browser window. Just a minute. Just maybe just do a, okay, let me just bring this up here. Yeah, and just do a btop GitHub. This is the GitHub repository. To know more about this project, the detailed README, help, all these are provided right here. The project is called btop++. It's available for Linux, OS X, FreeBSD, NetBSD, OpenBSD, and all the different mainstream Linux distributions, and the packaging status is also listed right here. You can look it up, and below there's a detailed explanation on how to create themes, and you can also see what are the different prerequisites that are recommended for getting the best experience of using this tool, and also what all GPUs are currently supported. Looks like it supports NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel GPU. I'm not sure if it supports the GPU that's available on my macOS running on my MacBook Pro. So that's the reason you don't see the GPU related information in here. And it shows you all the different themes and how they look and how to install it. So all the details are covered right in their GitHub repository. I did a quick search on btop GitHub, clicked on the first link. It's basically aristocratos/btop. And yes, if you really like this project, it's a good idea to sponsor projects like this, which will help developers to maintain them. That's a good one. And so which one should you use? Should you use btop, htop, the legacy top? Well, I believe that this is like choosing a distribution on Linux, isn't it? So you can choose whichever you find convenient. But I found btop to be good enough to run it as a dashboard on an extra monitor. So if you have a spare monitor that you can connect to your system where you want to just have a dashboard running, showing your system performance overall, maybe you can just connect another monitor which runs a terminal and run a large terminal emulator and run btop in it, and that's it. And regarding the resource usage of this particular tool, it is sort of similar to htop. So I'll show it to you on my Linux system here. So here I'm running btop in one of the terminals and one of these windows, tmux windows. I'll go to the other tmux window. Check this out, run htop here. If you just look up the memory usage, let me just sort it based on, okay, just one moment, please. Yeah. I'll reverse sort it. As you can see, the memory usage of btop and htop are sort of similar. You can see btop listed right here, 5.3 megabytes, and htop should also be there's around, yeah, htop is right here, 3.8 megabytes this time. Yeah, I've seen htop sometimes based on how you customize it. It can grow all the way to 7 MB. Same is the case with btop. So they're almost similar based on what features you turn on and turn off, right? So memory usage, it's not drastically different. They're similar. When it comes to even CPU usage, I don't see any big difference. If you probably select based on CPU usage, you can see that btop and htop almost take up same CPU percentage. This is pretty much unlike tools like Glances. Glances is built on Python, which is very, very flexible and customizable. It's bloated, right? Some people use Glances, which is good, which looks nice, but the overhead of Glances is very, very high. I do have Glances installed. I'll just show it to you right here. Oh, I not install it. Let me just do that. I'd installed this earlier. Maybe I just removed it. This is another system monitoring tool, um, which is one thing about Glances is that it has support for plugins and extensions that you can write in Python to monitor a wide variety of things. Very, very flexible. But I personally don't really use this for one reason. You can see that. Okay, this is the overall look and feel, the default look and feel of Glances. But you can customize the UI and how it looks and everything. It's very, very customizable. But the memory usage of this and the CPU usage of this, I will just show you. I'll show you in btop itself. Yeah. Memory usage shows up 11 MB, but CPU usage is like 25%. Wow. Okay. No. You don't want a monitoring tool to take up most of your CPU. No. So this is a no-go for me. I remember using something called bashtop, which had a similar UI. I think btop++ is inspired from bashtop. Right? They took in a lot of nice things from bashtop and they created that similarly. But the bashtop doesn't work anymore, I guess. I think I had installed it. Let me just check that again. Let me just kill this. It's not available. So I think, what's it called? Bashtop? I'm not sure. Maybe it's not available for Debian or Raspberry Pi OS, but it's available on Arch Linux if you plan to use it. On Arch, when I tried installing last time, it just launched it and killed. The killer killed Bashtop. The last thing you want is a system monitoring tool being killed by killer on Linux. Happened. So, okay, that virtual machine which I ran Arch Linux on had about 4 gigabytes, I think 2 gigabytes of RAM. So maybe that could be a reason. Anyways, it takes up a lot of memory. This is inspired from the UI of bashtop, but it's pretty lightweight because it's written in C++. That could be a reason why they have optimized this code. So that's the tool that I just want to show you in this video. So anyway, you might also think, how is this better than top? Obviously, you can see the UI looks more intuitive compared to the legacy top tool. I've seen many people even today on Linux system, they run this top command. Yeah, in 2025 using top, I don't know, because this is the 1990s tool. Okay, it's almost like 25 years old, 20 to 25 years old, roughly around that time. This tool has been there on Linux for a long time. It works, it's lightweight, it works. But then if you're on a modern Linux platform, I think you have alternatives like htop and btop that you can choose from. There's also another tool called htop, which I didn't find compelling enough for me to switch from, let's say, top command. So htop was a compelling alternative for top, and btop is the modern contender if you're looking for a dashboard-like interface with a nice UI. If you want heavy customizability, where you want to have fine-tuned, customization of all the nitty-gritty details that you want to show up in your process listing, I think htop is good. But if you just want to have a nice looking dashboard to get the overall view of your system on your terminal, I think btop is what you should look for. All right then, so with this, I end this video. Hopefully you found these concepts useful. So if you have any questions, queries, or anything that you want to share, please do so on comments. And as usual, if you like this video, do share and subscribe and like. Thank you. If you're interested in my detailed training videos in course format, do visit my profile on udemy.com The link to the same is in this video description. If you live in India or willing to pay by Indian rupees for my paid training courses, you also have the option to enroll on /prog.com. The link to the same is also in this video description.